everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to talk about how to choose which language to study. If you're not sure which language is right for you, the first and most obvious thing to consider is whether you have friends and family members that speak a different language. Studying their language will help you understand their culture better, plus they might be willing to help you. When we are surrounded by people who speak our target language, it becomes easier to incorporate this language into our everyday life, and this will help us stay motivated. Another factor to consider is whether you're attracted to any particular culture. It's a cliche worth repeating, but language really is the key to understanding a different culture. And being interested in pop culture is just as good a reason to study the language. If you watch a lot of Japanese anime or like a particular band that sings in Spanish, for example, then the choice is obvious. These things you already love will all become valuable resources to aid your language journey. And down the road, you won't have difficulties finding opportunities to immerse yourself in your target language. If you are neither surrounded by people who speak a different language, nor are you particularly fascinated by any foreign culture, my next tip would be to pick a language that simply sounds pleasant to your ears. How can you motivate yourself to surround yourself and immerse yourself in your target language if this language doesn't sound pleasant to you? When I first decided to learn Russian, I didn't know a lot about their cultures. I simply fell in love with that language because of the way it sounds. So my suggestion would be to look for videos in several languages that might potentially interest you and listen to them. Or maybe you like the look of a particular writing system. If this is the case, this is also a brilliant reason to learn a new language. If you have already studied a language or perhaps even several languages before, you might already know your strengths and weaknesses. Do you like languages with challenging grammar, or do you like the challenge of learning a different writing system? Or maybe you prefer a language that is easier or requires less time for you to reach fluency. Which language is easier will of course depend on your native language. A language in the same language family, or one that historically has lots of language contact with your native language, will obviously be easier for you. If you have absolutely no idea what aspects of language learning you enjoy, I would suggest choosing one that is considered easier and move on to a more difficult one later. Speaking from my own experiences, I think I would have been very put off by the Russian declension system if I had not done German and Latin before. German was the first language I learned which has a declension system, and because German only has 4 cases, it was more manageable. Then, going from 4 cases in German to 6 in Russian didn't seem so scary. If instead I had gone from not having seen any language with declensions to having to learn 6 in Russian, I think I would have been very overwhelmed. Of course, if you enjoy a challenge, go for a harder language. My next tip is sort of stating the obvious, and that is to pick a language that is useful. You may have noticed that I didn't start the video with this tip, and this is because, in my opinion, if you are learning a language out of pleasure, I would say it is more important that you like the language. A beautiful language is a beautiful language, regardless the number of native speakers or the political or economic influence of this language. However, learning a useful language brings a wide range of advantages. Firstly, it will be easier to find resources. Secondly, you might be able to improve your career prospect. Finally, you are more likely to meet people who speak or are also studying this language, and this could serve as your motivation. Therefore, you might want to consider which language is more useful where you live. Some languages have more native speakers, or perhaps there is a large community in your country that speaks this language. Or maybe this is a language of a neighboring country. That's all from me today. I hope you have enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to leave a comment to let me know which language you are studying or want to study in the future. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more language learning tips.